We saw you today with a one-handed catch. Also nearly come down with one that was thrown behind.
You saw that?
I saw that. And then you almost caught one that was thrown behind.
You guys were here?
We were there watching, yeah.
Where are you guys at?
We were up on the balcony. But
man, I thought y'all was boosters.
Oh, I don't know what they're running out there in Tuscaloosa, but he's learning what life's like in the NFL. Let's welcome in two-time Super Bowl champ Bryant McFadden. B-Mac, what do you just think about Najee Harris and what he said?
You just love his personality, right? You know, he has a welcoming personality, not to mention what he means on the football field. He's just enjoying the process, and I think he's starting to become a media favorite for the media folks there in Pittsburgh, just being genuine and not knowing exactly the ins and outs of what it means to be a professional football player. Because I can tell you this much, Najee, you will not see any boosters watching practice. You won't see any boosters. So when you're out there on the south side there in Pittsburgh practicing, anytime you see anybody standing over the balcony, is either media representatives, your GMs, your owner, but you won't see any boosters. But so far, I'm hearing pretty good things coming from Pittsburgh in regarding their first round selection.
Great advice there from B-Mac, who won the Super Bowls with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So you have Najee Harris, B-Mac, who is a high-profile college guy going to a high-profile team in the Pittsburgh Steelers. And what advice would you have for him? Well, we dug up some old top tape there to talk about what you said about rookies back in the day.
Kind of an eye-opener now for the rookies. You kind of welcome them a little bit out there on the field.
Yeah, question. Sometimes, if that needs to be, I don't know what the tempo is going to be as far as with any contact, any of that nature. But, there's always a situation where somebody may get, put on the ground a little bit.
If you were still playing today, you put Najee Harris on the ground, B-Mac.
Nah, I'd probably get cursed out. The rules are a little different. Back then, when I did that interview, we used to get fired up, especially for young guys. You could be a high round guy, you can be a late round guy. But if you're on the offensive side, we might want to touch you up a little bit just to check your heartbeat and see, how do you respond to that type of activity. But, Tommy, it's a different ball game now. Practices, they're not as physical as they used to be. So would I touch Najee Harris in practice right now? I probably wouldn't. I would just tag him off, something similar to what you see in flag football. You get close to his waist area, tag him off and let him go. But back in those days, if you're a rookie running back, you coming in with a lot of high expectations, yeah, we're gonna touch you up a little bit. It's only right.
And it doesn't matter which area you're in when it's the quarterback. You don't even breathe on him no matter what he's doing out there in the practice field. So let's move over to the quarterback position. Other rookies here. Start with Justin Fields, looking good at Bears rookie minicamp. Before to get your thoughts here, we've got a slew of interviews, but we'll start with Matt Nagy being asked about Justin Fields, maybe getting first team reps between now and week 1.
As we work through with Justin and where he's at with this offense, we know that it's going to take a little bit of time here in this offseason as we get into training camp. And so we're, Andy is the starter. Andy's going to get the 1 reps. And what we're telling Justin and Nick to do is make sure that they're doing everything they can to try to be that guy. And that's that competition part. And I know that for everybody, the biggest question is when is that going to happen? When you go up to draft a quarterback like Justin, everyone's very excited and they want to know when. And trust me, we all understand that. But we need to make sure that whatever that plan is that we put together, that it's the best thing for the Chicago Bears.
So the plan is for Andy Dalton to be QB1, but B-Mac, how soon would you like to see Justin Fields?
Week 1. Week 1. I mean, if you're Matt Nagy, if you're Ryan Pace, your lifeline is tied to Justin Fields, right? Because if this thing does not work out this season, it's safe to say Nagy and Pace will be on the outside looking in. So me personally, I understand Andy Dalton is the quarterback 1. He should be, because they haven't gotten involved in the reps, practicing on the grass and being able to get the entire team together. But at some point in time, you need to see number 1 in the starting lineup. When they drafted Justin Fields, he provided a sense of serenity to the organization, right? But will that serenity remain with this organization throughout the course of the season? Clearly, if he's on the sideline, it won't. They want to see Justin Fields in the lineup. We all want to see Justin Fields in the lineup because he has a higher ceiling than Andy Dalton. And we all know that Andy Dalton is not the long-term answer for their organization. So how soon? Let's go. Week 1. You have the entire offseason to get things together. You have the entire offseason to prepare this young man to be your starting quarterback. And like I said, Matt Nagy, Ryan Pace, your lifeline is tied to Justin Fields. And if he is on the sideline, especially if you're not winning ball games, you might be flatlining extremely fast.
And the Bears traded up to get Justin Fields. The Niners, B-Mac, traded up to get Trey Lance, although the assumption is that his plan is to wait a little bit longer than maybe Justin Fields. What do you think about the situation out of the Bay Area?
They have a great situation there in San Francisco, the total opposite than what they have going on there in Chicago. Jimmy Garoppolo is more than a serviceable quarterback. The issue with Jimmy G, Tommy, is being healthy. When he is healthy, when he is in the lineup, he has won ball games. So let's keep it real. You can criticize him as a passer, being a complete quarterback, but he wins ball games. If he is healthy, he will be in the lineup. He should be in the lineup. You have the opportunity to allow Trey Lance to watch from afar, learn what it means to be a starting quarterback in the National Football League. Remember, he has a very, very small sample size on the college football fields. So being able to learn at least in year 1 would be ideal for him as an individual. And I think the franchise would definitely benefit from that in the long term. So me personally, Jimmy G should be the guy going forward this season, because Jimmy G understands that he has to play good football, because for him to continue to be a starting quarterback in the National Football League, not just in San Francisco, Tommy, but in the National Football League, he has to put out hot tape. He has to put out some real good hot tape. It can't be room temperature tape. It got to be hot tape, because eventually Trey Lance will be the starting quarterback in the near future. But this season, 2021, is all up to Jimmy G.
They're keeping it simple and slow there for Trey Lance. Reports out of the Bay Area and Santa Clara is that Trey Lance, everything's short and easy for him as they get him into the mix in the NFL. So he was selected with a 3rd overall pick by San Francisco, 2 picks ahead of the top pick. Trevor Lawrence practicing, but he's coming off that labrum surgery to end his collegiate career at Clemson. Urban Meyer, B-Mac, was being asked about how they're handling their top franchise guy.
Yeah, he's looked great, been great in meetings. You know, no huddle quarterbacks have a tendency to struggle a little bit with verbiage and calling plays and getting used to a coordinator calling it in your helmet. He's really adapted well to that. He's on a 30 to 40 pitch count right now, and that's just our physical therapist. We're watching that. We're being very cautious, can probably go a little bit more, but you know, we just want to be very smart about everything.
So the expectations for all the quarterbacks taken in the 1st round are big, but none bigger than Trevor Lawrence. So what do you think about what Urban Meyer's doing and how they're handling their top guy?
I think medically speaking, they're handling him the right way. Knowing what he had done to his surgery, I think a few months ago, you don't want to put too much on his plate. Now it's about the mental game, right? Seeing how cerebral he is as a professional quarterback. I love what Urban Meyer said just right there in that presser, that throughout rookie minicamps, they were very, very impressed with how well Trevor Lawrence was able to pick up in calls, coming into his helmet, being able to orchestrate those calls and communicate them in a huddle, and then being able to command the huddle. Most of these collegiate quarterbacks, they've never huddled before. They never stood in a huddle, called a play out, and then go to the line of scrimmage and execute it. So I think hearing that is a big time plus, because he would need to be able to do that, play in and play out, for them to be successful offensively, because that's the first step into having a successful rep. Being able to communicate the call, ideally in the huddle, and being able to get everybody on the same page at the line of scrimmage. So me personally, I think that's the best thing you need to do with your young quarterback, especially if you're trying to monitor what he does from the physical standpoint. It's all about the above the shoulder game. And I don't think anyone would question how smart Trevor Lawrence is as a quarterback. It's all about how fast will he be able to pick up everything that he needs to be able to pick up for him to be at his best.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.